What are some effective rugby fitness tests to assess player performance? If you are a rugby player or coach looking to gauge your team's fitness levels, you are in the right place. Let us break down some of the most effective tests that can help you assess player performance. First off, let us talk about the Bronco Test. This test is quite rugby-specific and involves a series of movements that mimic the game. You will need cones set up at 0m, 2m, 5m, and 15m. Players start with a down-up at the first cone, then run a figure 8 around the next 2 cones, sprint to the 4th cone, and finally back to the start. This is repeated every 40 seconds for 10 reps, and the total time is recorded. It is great for testing agility and anaerobic endurance. Another simple yet effective test is the 10x100m sprint test. This one is straightforward tongue-out modulators run from one try line to the other and back again, repeating this 10 times without rest. The total time taken is recorded, giving you a clear indication of aerobic fitness. This test was even used by Gloucester Rugby as a pass/fail for players returning from the off-season. For a more comprehensive assessment, the MFITS Metabolic Fitness Index for team sports is a great option. This test includes a 100m sprint, followed by a 10-minute rest, then a 400m run, another 20-minute rest, and finally an 800m run for forwards or 1,500m for backs. This test evaluates a player's ability in each energy system: ATP-CP for the 100m sprint, anaerobic glycoly, TIC for the 400m run, and aerobic for the longer distances. In rugby league, the yo-yo intermittent test and the 30 to 15 intermittent fitness test, 30 to 15 IFT, are highly recommended. These tests simulate the high-intensity efforts with short rest intervals that are typical in rugby league. Players perform repeated high-intensity runs with short breaks, which closely mimics the game's demands. For strength and power, tests like the 1RM bench press, 1RM power clean, and counter movement jump are essential. These tests measure maximal strength and power, which are critical for rugby players, especially in positions that require a lot of physical contact. The 5 to 0 to 5 agility test is another valuable tool. This test assesses a player's ability to change direction quickly, which is vital for evading defenders and making quick turns on the field. Players start at a line, sprint 5 meters to another line, then back to the start, and finally sprint another 5 meters in the opposite direction. Finally, the repeat sprint test, such as the running-based anaerobic sprint test RAST, is used to measure anaerobic power and recovery from short bursts of high-intensity exercise. This test involves multiple sprints with short rest periods, reflecting the intermittent nature of rugby. These tests provide a well-rounded view of a player's fitness, from aerobic capacity and agility to strength and power, helping coaches and players alike to identify areas for improvement and track progress over time.